as children with no experience with driving even outside of the city. Not, I wouldn't say even driving in our country, just outside of the cities. And I started to help them. Now it's clear what to do. You need these documents, you should go to that point, you should cross the border, you should take your robinet, make a green card, you should go to that place, contact volunteers, they will help you to build the further road, they will help you with accommodation. It's clear now. Back then, nothing would do. No information at all, no contacts, that was like a blind spot. That's why I was involved. To help to those whom I able to help. But the number of people like myself was growing. Most of the people were just passing through Romania in transit and going to Hungary, to Slovakia, to Italy. And the first issue was accommodation. We were first 10 days. I haven't attended the Center of Sibiu. I didn't saw Sibiu. I was just staying in an apartment and only all the time in touch with regarding accommodation and some issues related to transport of documents. But step by step.
So did you get the team now?
Yes. Then the team was started here. Most of people I didn't knew back then. It was new people, and we were just trying to learn our best, based on our experience and new experience here. And now here with all this much, I wouldn't say it's an organization, it is still an initiative. We don't have any legal entity, no NGO, but so many people and organizations are helping here. All we have to do is redirect this help in the right manner. Just few examples for you to understand. When there was a center where people could come and take some basic goods what they need, yes. And during my first visit, I saw several pallets with Malay. I can imagine this is a typical food for Romania, which if you want to help two people, you would go to the supermarket and buy a few pallets of Malay. This is not a product which is used in Ukraine. So,
we didn't know what to do with it, right?
Yeah, we didn't know what to do, how to cook, but a lot of money was spent on this.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's a basic food.
Yes.
But it's like manka. You can cook it in the milk.
We cook it, but it's like I don't know,
Unusual.
5 or 3% of normal. If you would simply replace it with rice, that's fine. It's the same ready product, but just it's just an example. And there were a lot of things like that. Okay, let's establish language courses for everyone. Yes, let's establish language courses. English-speaking teacher for Russian-speaking population. So how can they learn Romanian with the English-speaking teacher? So and there were a lot of.
You have the same problem.
We have for me also it was difficult to learn Romanian by English teacher or by Romanian.
I am attending Romanian courses now in English, only because for myself English is fine.
Yeah.
But too many people
They don't
speak. They just know Ukrainian and Russian, that's it. Actually, that's very helpful for us was that here there are quite many people from Bessarabia, so there are two language speakers and they help a lot with translation, especially for first reading.
So you have a place where you gather, like an actual place? Or is it
Yes,
just
we have a place which was offered by German Business Club in March. They used to use it in the past for their gatherings as their office, but now after pandemic started, so they just have it but don't use it. So that's why we are lucky here with this offer that was really kind and really helpful from their side. We are still there, so people can come and get information and support with the document they need. We even do their psychological support sessions.
That's more than, I mean, yeah, the food is another issue and all the material help, that's another thing. But
Yes.
these things are quite basically
On
what
the
needed,
On the first days, they would just needed someone whom they can speak to, who can understand them, and who can give them the correct information, verified and clear enough, easily understandable. Actually, they still need this.
Yeah, but because they're still coming, right? To Sibiu.
They are still coming. They are still residence permit. It's for many of them exactly this period is when the 90 days are over, so they have to get some another next status.
So it takes like 90.
Yes, Ukrainians can stay in Romania without any just for the
Reason.
border
But
for
after?
salary for 90 days. After getting residence permit, we can stay for a year, 1 year.
For courses, or do you have to go to like an interview, visas or whatever?
No, it is quite simple.
Okay.
Just a very simple form, copies of the documents, and that's it. It was tricky because they started to release it only in April, not in March. So now it's short time. Come on, just in March, and then in April they start. But back then, there was a century, 30 days, that's extremely long period when you don't know. When you have no information, when you don't, they didn't know. So the authorities also didn't know what to do. And when we were asking them, okay, what shall we do next? You shall apply for residence permit. Okay, how can we apply? We don't know. Where will we know? We don't know. And we didn't also know, okay, once they developed this the procedure, how long will it take? Now it's clear. Once you apply the papers, in 20 minutes you will get a residence permit.
Yeah.
But then, if a person would like to apply for asylum, like yes,
that's
political, the documents are taken for 3 months, including the passport, the original, and people are not allowed to move anywhere else anymore. With this temporary protection, it's much easier. But back then, there was no this kind of information. Nothing like that.
That's the system that we live in, because you know it's hard to live.
Because it wasn't expected for everyone, not just for us.
I think the authority in Romania, they move so fast. It's
Yes,
exceptional
yes.
when they.
Yeah.
Yeah,
First project was the authorities which are responsible for border. They just, very important thing that they did, they allowed to cross the border with any kind of transport, even with pets, without any kind of vaccination or documents or whatever. So, with children of your neighbors, you can do this. That was a very big deal.
It's a little bit risky with the children downstairs because I heard some news about the children and the minors that took them like organization for this.
And here during the very first weeks, a lot of NGOs were involved, and they took this role of, let's say, police. So refugees on the border were under control of NGOs until the government step in on the third week or by the end of the first month. Actually, the NGOs did very good. So they really traffic. They supplied with basic, just even giving food right after crossing. Warm clothes, that was February. Some carriages for cats or pampers for children. So they did a lot of that at the time. And then helping with transport to the bigger cities, because none of border crossing point is in a big city. Those are just villages or just a field with a corn or
Where we get them alive from. But I think we can even take it a little one step further and from contact which are people behind desks to a problem. I mean, it's not even, of course it's a systemic, but it's also a state thing, and I think it's important to put this emphasis on this. It's poor management, state to state or within state or whatever, at an international level in case of conflict. Like, we don't know, and we don't really have this problem. We have before since years, and I think many people in this room can agree with that because we've been through waves and waves with migrants and for political reasons and refugees. Sorry, not migrants, refugees. Know what to do, and it's been years, and nobody has been able to figure out what to do, and it has been years. And I think it's really important to point out the first. It reminds me of Anna said the first. Important to go all the way up and to point that. And from there, of course, everything sort of crumbles because they didn't know what to do because they didn't know the procedures because nobody thought about that.
yes, exactly.
They were caught.
Yeah, and that shouldn't be the case. Like, you should think of stuff like that, right? Because unfortunately, this is the reality in which we have been living since the dawn of humanity. I mean, wars have been going on since forever, and still, this is a sort.
People who can contribute and everybody really reacted. Like
Yes.
the first day, everybody was shocked, and we have to help. We have to help. There was outcry, like the whole community. So I think, yeah, they did a good job, right? The NGOs. And if that wasn't the case.
Yes, exactly. They did a lot in the very beginning, and then continue. Then government stepped in with the issue. They had really good practice thanks to the pandemic, so they knew how to react quite fast on the critical situation. And actually, thanks to pandemic, Ukrainian children could continue their classes because by that time it was clear how to manage and launch quickly online classes. So, yeah, there are some positive aspects in such
situations. We'll have to look for them. Look for them.
Yes.
No,
Really?
it's correct. It's correct. It's time to go further because back then everything was clear. There was now people mostly just took what they could take with them and then just left. So no proper clothes, not enough stuff, not enough money. So the career was just empty.
So it's
Now it. What is available. So the program with money for the host it's ongoing. So many families can expect for, let's say, pre-accommodation for some period. There are money from Red Cross, so some financial support exists. So actually, the basic needs are covered with this. All other needs, they are not basic. Like for education, we are working a lot. Not yet normal schools. We expect and we hope since from September we will launch Ukrainian school under Ukrainian curriculum. But for expert regarding Zakaria, that during last months or even two, it was a quite relaxing for people. Not pushing them to start acting. Okay, you are now in a safe place, your families are safe, now your turn. You should make a decision what are you going to do. It's not correct just are still waiting for their 2 weeks to come back to Ukraine. Some are coming back, then it's fine if they consider that it's the right decision for them. We cannot convince them, we cannot push them. For in some cities it's really more or less safe to go back. In other are not, but they are still coming because their husbands are there. They cannot cross the border. To find a job or to learn the language, and then with a better experience find a job with a better salary. They are free what to do now. And the career was pulling them back, pulling them down. So that's why it was made the decision to close. Time for the next step.
next week. So I wanted to ask you about the if they're like in
Yes.
villages, and how do they manage? Do they have a connection to the authorities? Do they
Yes, they are connected with the primarias and dead cities, and actually quite many families who arrived here, they have cars. So
Yeah, okay.
it's not that cheap to go every day to Sibiu, but when they need, they can do this. Of course, there's some of them are suffer from this because there is no work in small villages. If it's a middle-sized city like Chesndia, for example, it's fine. There are 2 factories, so they can find some over there. But if it's small, like Gura or Louis or Lat, what to do there? People are still find some like to clean the house, or it's not a real job for the full time.
So they are isolated, right? They have. Oh, okay.
Yes, and we are in touch with them for those families who are really far away and they don't have car. We are trying to move them to Sibiu. Yes, or at least once a week or 2 times a month. Once the Korea was working, just pick up some goods from the Korea and brought to the people. And taking their dogs from there to the vet to Sibiu. So yes,
Yeah.
it's not that easy, but we are dealing with this somehow.
Do you have volunteers from Sibiu or people who come regularly and help at the center?
Yes, yes, and to find find the new ideas of what to do with those volunteers, how to direct them their efforts in a correct manner.
Yeah.
Like it was in the very beginning, there was a lot of people who are willing to help, but they were just initiatives. So I want to help, but tell me how. So and you have to find out how and to tell the person.
Yeah, so get involved, right?
Yes, yes, to help to integrate this.
Directly.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Even to take the kids and to go together with them. That's or to advise where to go to on a weekend. Actually, the main trouble we have now, it's which we're trying to solve. It's teenagers. Because for the children, it's clear. They are in educational center for the full day. Even now, after school, like in a camp. It's clear. For adults, we can also advise where to go or what to do, but what to do with teenagers. Children are not adults, and they need to develop them somehow. They need to express their, and it's a new challenge for us now. What to do with teenagers?
Well, if they go to high school here, then I think they will understand that as well.
Yes, the
I know
The
they don't know the
language,
language, but maybe they
And they are not open to speaking their native language.